the boxing world has been shaken by a seismic split. After decades together, legendary trainer Calvin Ford has made the difficult decision to part ways with his starfighter, Gervonta "Tank" Davis. This isn't just about a canceled fight. It's the end of an era, a story of loyalty, frustration, and a partnership that finally reached its breaking point. In a candid interview with a major boxing YouTube channel, Calvin Ford didn't hold back his feelings about Tank's continuous legal troubles. "Kenny and I are leaving the team," Ford stated plainly. He explained that Tank had stopped listening and kept getting into problems. "There's no reason to stay," he said, "when your fighter keeps repeating the same mistakes." While Tank himself hasn't released an official statement, the writing has been on the wall for a while. The first signs of trouble appeared when Ford was noticeably absent from Tank's training camp for his scheduled fight with Lamont Roach. Their relationship, which had weathered many storms and reconciliations over the years, was clearly under strain. Ford revealed that the idea of splitting first came up when Tank announced his retirement on social media without even telling his own team. Earlier this year, Davis had spoken about wanting to focus on his mental health and become a better father. He said, "That's why I don't want to box anymore. I want to go to therapy, but I'm worried it might take away the fire that drives me." He spoke of letting go of anger and a desire for his daughters to grow up kind and humble, free from the shadow of his past mistakes. He emphasized the importance of being genuine, saying, "Pretending only adds more stress." But not long after these statements, Tank was back in training camp, this time without his mentor, Calvin Ford, in his corner. The separation wasn't a sudden explosion, but a slow burn. The issues started brewing during the preparations for the Lamont Roach fight. Small disagreements, unspoken frustrations, and differing expectations gradually created a chasm between the two. The situation began to shift as Ford started stepping back to focus on developing younger talent. While fans often speculated about financial disputes, Ford always insisted their bond was like family. But over time, he grew weary of Tank's recurring issues and began to distance himself. There was no big public fight, but the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. During fight preparations, the atmosphere became strained. Davis began ignoring Ford's advice, preferring to trust his own instincts in critical moments. Ford's authority, once absolute, began to crumble. In a late round of one fight, when Ford urged caution, Davis reportedly snapped back, "Calvin, calm down and listen to me." This moment sent shockwaves through the boxing community, a clear sign of the growing rift between the mentor and his prodigy. Once the news of the split went public, fans immediately took sides. Many expressed sympathy for Calvin Ford, while others were quick to criticize Tank's attitude. "Tank is so disrespectful," one fan commented. "He can't succeed without Calvin." Supporters highlighted Ford's decades of loyalty and patience, calling him the bedrock of Davis's career. The general sentiment across social media was that Davis had been ungrateful to the man who had molded him. Before the split was confirmed, the narrative was carefully controlled. The official story was that Ford was just taking a short break, and the team structure was intact. This gave the impression that the situation was just a temporary hiccup. Reflecting on that time apart, Ford admitted, "Even if I wasn't actively training Tank, knowing where he was and what he was doing gave me some peace." The emotional tie was still there, even if the professional one was fraying. That brief separation seemed to make both men realize how much they needed each other. When Ford returned to the gym, the relief was palpable. Veteran coach Barry Hunter noted a sense of stability returning to the team. Calvin Ford, Coach Barry, Coach Boogie, and Kenny Ellis had always been the four pillars of Tank's corner. Barry Hunter explained that even though Ford and Kenny would no longer be in the ring during fights, this kind of team adjustment wasn't unheard of. While online speculation ran wild, those inside the camp insisted that Davis was still family. For a moment, it seemed like things might go back to normal. But behind the scenes, the tension simmered. Prime video footage captured heated exchanges, with Davis shouting over Ford's instructions between rounds. Ford and Ellis' decision to step away was seen by many as a stand against Tank's behavior, particularly in the wake of a serious domestic violence case. On October 30th, The situation escalated dramatically. Davis was hit with a lawsuit from his former girlfriend, Courtney Rell, accusing him of battery, kidnapping, and emotional abuse. Court documents detailed alleged violent confrontations, threatening messages, and multiple assaults. Rell claimed she was suffering from severe PTSD and lived in constant fear. ESPN reported that neither Tank's team nor Most Valuable Promotions responded to requests for comment on how this would affect his upcoming fight. According to Sports Illustrated, Jake Paul's team immediately began searching for a new opponent for their November 14th event. Davis's mounting legal issues were a direct contradiction to his recent public statements about focusing on his mental health. The highly anticipated Paul versus Tank showdown was suddenly in jeopardy, with the entire boxing world holding its breath. It didn't take long for the official announcement to drop. Most Valuable Promotions confirmed that the Netflix event scheduled for November 14th was canceled. Jake Paul's business partner, Nikisa Badarian, stated they would find a new opponent and reschedule for a later date. As more disturbing details from the court documents emerged, Jake Paul decided to publicly sever all ties with Davis. In a scathing public statement, Jake Paul called Davis a walking human piece of garbage. He declared that he would never provide a platform for someone accused of harming women, emphasizing that his company stands for respect and accountability. Paul apologized to his team and the undercard fighters who were affected by the cancellation, expressing his deep frustration with the entire situation. But not everyone was buying Paul's sudden moral stand. Boxing champion Claressa Shields was quick to call him out. She questioned his motives, pointing out that Tank's history of domestic violence was already widely known. Shields accused Paul of using morality as a public relations stunt, only after his financial interests were threatened. She reminded everyone that Davis's past arrests and accusations were an open secret in the boxing world. Shields went on to say that accountability and consequences in boxing are long overdue. She argued that the current controversy was simply a case of Davis's repeated behavior finally catching up to him. Her comments added a crucial layer to the conversation, highlighting the sport's ongoing struggle with ethics and responsibility. Most Valuable Promotions issued a statement saying they were carefully reviewing the situation. The organization stressed that any future decisions would be based on verified facts, not public pressure, emphasizing the need for fairness and due process. So, what's next? With Tank Davis out, Jake Paul's team is scrambling to find a new opponent. If a deal with Ryan Garcia can't be made, another massive name is reportedly in the mix: Anthony Joshua. Negotiations are underway, and fans are anxiously awaiting updates on what could be the next blockbuster fight. This story is developing fast, and you won't want to miss a thing. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay right on top of the latest boxing news, upcoming events, and exclusive coverage. We'll see you in the next one.